McIntyre is make him this aggressive, I just want to fight guy. And
Yeah.
they got rid of him. They put him in 3 and B, got rid of him, and then he came back as essentially that.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
he became a huge baby face.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Now he's ahead of everything too. He's just on top of his game.
Yeah.
do you watch WWE currently? Well, you probably do because based on everything you said.
I do, but like you were saying, it's hard to keep up with all the shows. I'll DVR them, but I'm busy a lot, so I don't really have to watch it. But I'll watch like highlights, and I try to keep up with it. There's some things that I question when I watch. I'm like, what are they doing with certain characters?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Same thing me and him do. Absolutely. We do these weekly reviews, just talk about, and we also just talk on our phones and everything. We're like, this is not making as much sense.
I do like that Lashley is the champ now. I really I never was a huge fan of him, but became a fan when he was in the Hurt Business. Cause I like the Hurt Business. I thought that was amazing when a lot of people say, I don't know about this. I'm like, I think MVP's gonna rejuvenate a lot of these guys, especially Lashley and Shelton, because he wasn't doing nothing before he was in the Hurt Business.
Yeah.
Well, the Hurt Business is basically a rehash of what MVP did with actually Bobby Lashley in TNA with the Beatdown Clan.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah, so it was one of those where I'm like, okay, I know what they're doing, and at least MVP is a great manager, and it works.
He is,
And the only kind of mixed feelings that I had with Bobby Lashley getting it is I'm a huge McIntyre fan, been for since he was the chosen one.
Yeah, me too.
One of the things I will say, if you haven't watched the pay-per-view from tonight, which is Fastlane, McIntyre dressed full Braveheart.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. Yeah, I'll probably check it out, like highlights and stuff. But it's definitely interesting. And it's crazy that they gave him the full Nelson, the Hurt Lock. Cause I'm like, that was the Master Lock, and Lashley is the first guy to break the Master Lock. So I'm like,
yeah, absolutely.
I was talking about that with a friend. I never liked him doing the Dominator. It doesn't look good for him.
Yeah, I'm sure I did like the full Nelson. I like those I like that a lot of old school moves are coming back as finish. Like a lot of time, like they're saying they really want to emphasize the DDT being a finish. I mean, because it always was. Like now and the stunner too. Kevin Owens started using the stunner.
Yeah. So actually, speaking of the DDT and former ECW guy, what did you think of Raven's DDT?
Loved it. Love Raven.
His DDT. It was a very, very clean DDT.
Because he would snap back and back bump, and the guy would just not flip. He would just take a face, just hit it, and that was it. You're done. Like your head's going down to that mat. You're not going to get up.
Yeah.
So he had a really cool DDT. Probably I think a lot of times these days that DDTs are not have the effect. They don't take it serious as they used to.
Yeah, it's just like a basic move.
Yeah, it's unfortunate how it evolved to just being, like I said, a basic move. I'm like, it's just unfortunate. But it's now more or less of how you can do it. Now, of course, you have Raven back in the day. Now you have Drew McIntyre's DDT, which makes for
future shot.
When he had the Miz doing his DDT, it looks cool too. I mean, but
I like the Miz DDT.
Yeah.
Oh, his is pretty clean too.
Yeah, and it just they definitely really are like it's almost like what's old is new again, because there's so many things you can do in that ring. It's like, what's gonna beat the guy now? Like come on.
Yeah.
So Lashley doing the full Nelson, I was like, okay, and I thought Lashley always had a pretty decent spear too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, his didn't look bad. It's just Dominator was his main finisher.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I always had this feeling like it has to make sense for the guy. Like, I'll be frank, your finisher being what it is makes sense for you. It really makes sense for you. And it's just sometimes when you see these guys with these finishers that doesn't make sense. And Wade Barrett was one of those for me because the Wasteland didn't make sense. To me, he should have had a clothesline variant of a finisher.
Yeah, he started doing the bullhammer. That definitely worked out better for him.
Right. But, and every time I saw this guy, I'm like, man, if he did like a clothesline from hell or something, it would look massive.
That Wasteland, it was a little different.
It looked weak, and I always said the Wasteland looked like a setup to something. Like this was just weird that was just this main finish.
Yeah. A setup would have been a lot better. I mean, the Wasteland into like a clothesline or something, or they get a full hammer or whatever it's fine too. But yeah, I agree. That was always a good way to have a setup and not the finisher. But,
It looked like a setup to like a Vader bomb.
Yeah, like and yeah, Wade Barrett, he was out a really good heel too when he was in Nexus. Like he was another one. Now I think I believe he's just a commentator on NXT now. I don't even watch NXT that much. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's a commentator on it.
I haven't watched NXT for a while myself. It's just yeah. I mean, I get more into Impact and AEW. All it keeps my attention, but say obviously there's so much wrestling on, so try to keep up with best you can. But
yeah.
I think honestly, besides the Nexus, I think Wade Barrett's really, I think where he really shined out, obviously on the Zone a lot was had Bad News Barrett. I kind of was into it. I mean, I like huge into it.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Yeah,
that's kind of cool. The way he kind of conducted it too. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But,
so you mentioned NXT and all that. Is there any guys in WWE that you wrestled in the past?
I've wrestled. Let me see. I've wrestled Marginetti. I got to wrestle. Well, he was in it. Well, yeah. Buff Bagwell. He was in all of WCW and WWE. Little Guido. Hornswoggle. Robbie E.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually now I have several follow-ups. Marty Jannetty, do you think he's as crazy as they make him out to be on social media?
No, he was really nice,
okay.
And easy, and it was a lot of fun. And it was like, it was just like one of those times, or it was like, hey, I'm going to show Russell Marginetti. It's like, oh, no big deal. And then like, I'm in the ring with him. I'm like, well, I'm about to lock up with Marginetti. This is crazy. Like, it was like a moment. I was like, this is fucking crazy. Like, oh, sorry for the person, but I was just like, wow, nuts.
Yeah, that is really cool right there. That is really cool.
And how was Buff? Because your character and Buff's character are kind of close to each other.
It was awesome. I had a blast working with him, and he said the same thing. He's like, yo, he's like, you're Sizzling Stan, I'm Buff. Oh, this is great. He's like, you're really like leaning in shape. You have muscle too. We talked a lot. We talked a lot about wrestling. We talked more about gym and fitness. Well, yeah, it's really good.
Hey, he's pretty cool guy, huh?
He was great with me. Yeah, I know there's a lot of Buff Bagwell stories, but he was nothing but awesome with me. He was very cool.
That's cool.
It wouldn't matter if you say anything negative about Buff.
Oh
Bagwell.
no,
I'm a WCW guy. And Buff was actually one of the guys that I used to want to do the blockbuster. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Buff. Yeah, I was always a big Buff Bagwell fan too when I was a kid. Yeah.
It's just interesting to hear what your interactions were. Not like we're trying to look stony being.
Yeah, he was really cool. We had a really fun, easy match, and
that's
cool. Mm-hmm.
The Little Guido, that had to been like a dream come true because of ECW, right?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Great guy, easy. Man, he knows his stuff, and like he can still go. Like it's like I'm like, wow, like holy crap, like he yeah, he was a lot of fun too.
Smart guy, huh? I bet with all his obviously years of experience, and especially him working alongside Paul Heyman for so many years too.
I even in the Indies, I got to wrestle Shotzi Blackheart. She's in NXT now, and she was a sweetheart. Yeah. I loved wrestling her.
I'm a fan of her.
Mark loves Sasha or
she's Shotzi Blackheart. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I like her.
Mm-hmm. Like I remember wrestling her. I told her, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna be in WWE soon. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, you're gonna make it. And she's like, you think so? I'm like, yep.
Her gimmick with the tank is just it's awesome.
Oh yeah, by far. It is awesome. I'd say when I seen that, I was like, okay, that's cool and that's different. And she just has her whole attitude, the persona, the gimmick is just so on point. It just has that entertainment flair on.
Yeah, she always had
get somewhere.
Mm-hmm. She always had the it factor. Even in the Indies, like she was crazy popular. I wrestled her in California, and she was crazy popular. And everywhere, I had her on my shows, my earlier shows, and crazy popular, and just got more and more and more. And then once she got to Evolve, then went to NXT, that was it.
Wow.
I could definitely see her being on the main roster in a year or two.
I kind of don't want her on the main roster because, I'm sorry, I don't have much confidence in the main roster.
You know what? Me too. Yeah, they really need to spruce up a lot of these girls. Just get some different storylines going.
And I'm not trying to wish anything upon them. I just really want Triple H to take over.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, even they have Aleister Black pretty much waiting it out until his contract's over. I'm like, dude, they didn't do anything for Aleister Black, and I was a fan of his.
I loved Aleister Black in NXT. Like, I was all about that character.
Yeah, it was great. Now it's just
Same.
I don't.
There's so many others. Keith Lee.
Mhm.
Oh, what's his
Yeah.
name? It's Donovan Dijakovic. All those
Yeah.
people.
I believe he's one of the
Ricochet.
guys in Retribution. I
He
believe.
is. He
Mhm.
is. You can't see how I'm rolling my eyes, but he is.
Yeah.
Well,
The Retribution gimmick. This is already like it's already this kind of. It was cool at first. Like this, and I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And just they have no clue what they're doing. They really
No,
no.
they don't. It was on a hot streak for a little bit there. I'm
Mhm.
like, this is cool, and then they just died it off, man. It's just like it's not. There's not anything to it now. It's just
No. I'm
yeah.
surprised Mustafa Ali's the leader. I was like, what? Like, where did that come from? Like, let's just put this guy. Yeah. So
Even
weird.
if they want, because I've actually had an idea, like, one of the times if I ever do like a solo episode, something like if Mark gets sick, if I do a solo episode, I'm gonna redo the whole Retribution thing. And if
Mhm.
and even with leaning in him being a leader, it was just bad,
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, and then they had they had Mia Yim as Reckoning, and I believe they had Mercedes Martinez at first too, and then they
Yep.
took her off and put her back on NXT.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, Mia Yim's awesome. Like, why would you just not use Mia Yim and put her in against the girls? Like, it's just why'd you pick another character? It was just dumb. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, WWE is so frustrating to watch sometimes. And it's
Hmm.
kind of like it's not like we hate WWE, it's we're
Yeah.
disappointed in WWE.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's really what it is by
They
far.
they they do some right things. Like I do like Roman Reigns as champ as heel. I do like Bobby Lashley as champ. But like yeah, a lot of other stuff's like, oh man, like what are they doing? Like they haven't done anything with Kevin Owens, and I thought Kevin Owens they were like a lot of people saying, oh, it's gonna be the next Stone Cold. I'm like, there's only one Stone Cold, guys, but I don't know.
Well, similar character, that anti-authority character that can
Yeah,
bounce
yeah,
between. And Owens is definitely that. And
he
Owens,
is.
he's one of my favorite in terms of being able to shine during the pandemic because he
Yeah,
knows how to talk shit
yes, he
in a
does.
match.
Yeah, he does.
And
Yeah,
that's what worked. To go back to the people that he faced, that was from WWE.
yeah.
With the Hornswoggle match, was that more like a comedy match?
It was a five-way and beyond wrestling. Hornswoggle was that, and it was Dan Barry, Jarek 120, Johnny Cockstrong,
What?
me, and Dick. I believe I believe Dick Justice was in this match too. It's online. I have a lot of matches online, but yeah, it was a big comedy match, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, the Cock Strong definitely shined that as a comedy match.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if you heard about this. As soon as you said that, he's what?
Yeah, it was. I've been in some crazy. My girlfriend will watch my match, and she's like, you know what? Nothing shocks me anymore. Nope. She's like, you know what? Nope. Yeah, that's my boyfriend. That's you. Yep. Nothing's gonna shock me anymore.
Is she big in wrestling or something, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. She was involved in wrestling in a telecast show, but she's not involved anymore. But
Okay.
she likes wrestling. Yeah.
That's cool. You say have a sport and saw someone else that's into it too.
Yeah.
And so Robbie E was one of the guys I actually followed back in TNA, and I know he's now on WWE as Robert Stone. How was that?
Yeah, he was great too. I wrestled him in a triple threat match, and he said he wanted to wrestle me in a singles. He loved my character, and he's like, dude, we had so much fun. And I was losing West Virginia. He said, you know, the crowd's really hot for you. Like, and he said, like, dude, we definitely need to do one-on-one. I believe the company was supposed to bring him back, but they never did. But I do like the Robert Stone gimmick a lot too.
I like the Robbie E one.
Yeah.
And there was a match I did find online. And I know this guy has a lot of negative stuff out about him, but it looked like he did a tag team match with Joey Ryan.
Yes, I did I wrestled him one-on-one too.
Oh, really?
The very first Intergender Bonanza was me.
Actually, yeah, I seen part on seen like a little piece of that actually.
Yep.
And that's another guy that you guys have characters that kind of parallel.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Joey, he reached out to me because I when I first did, like I said, my first show, I had everything booked up, and he reached out, and I was like, you know what, like Joey Ryan was one of my dream matches. Actually was my dream match, and it's all this shit happened, and yeah, you never know, I always say this, like, hey, we're called professional wrestlers, and we finding out that a lot of us were doing that speaking out movement weren't professional. That's all I really have to say.